Hi, yeah. So you're a certified CPA, is that right? Okay, cool. So I had a question for you. It's real quick. It shouldn't take long because I'm about to go live on my show. But I was just curious if, let's say, for example, like I have my home office deduction, right? And I get that now as well. But let's say also I'm occupying space in somebody's head. Is that a tax deduction as well? Can I write that, or do I have to claim that as another space that I'm renting? Because I'm not paying anything for it, but I'm obviously there. Okay, well, that's good news. Well, listen, I got to go. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right. Hey, what's up, you damn dirty deckheads? Happy Thursday. Welcome to the show. This is Barry on Deck. I am your host, Barry Laminack. Thank you guys so much for being here. This is episode number 73. I had to check. You know, I don't remember from literally day to day what episode this is, but this is episode number 73 of the show. I can't believe we've made it this far. I really thought like after 4, you guys would be like, all right, this fucking sucks. Let's go on to something else. But we are here. We are doing it. We are mighty. We are small but mighty. I don't know. That thing I just described my penis. I don't know how this works. Thank you guys so much again for being here. I've got a fun show planned for you. Lots of stuff to get to, but you know, I always got to get to the chat first, and I gotta say we have somebody lost their first virginity today. Eric Resendez was first in on the chat, so congratulations, buddy. He was the first one in. He did it. Mr. Roast Me on Twitch, Eric Resendez was our first one in on the chat. So let's get to it. Got to give props to all the chat folks. I see. Oh, well, look at that. Already got a super chat. PayPal Pete, thank you, buddy. I'm going to put it on the screen when I scroll down, I promise. But thank you. If you don't know what that sound was, that was Oliver, my stuttering cat with a lisp. And that's that noise, whatever he makes, that Chewbacca whose balls haven't dropped yet noise signifies a super chat. So if you're new to the show, or maybe you're tuning in later and wondering what in the fuck that noise was, that's just the signal to let you know someone is supporting the show by sending a super chat, which you can do as well. If you're following along live, you see a little dollar sign, you click on that, you send money. It helps me keep this show going. Otherwise, just sit back and enjoy, because it's going to be fun. So what's up to Mod Reverend Lord House? He's drunk with power already. But we did add a third moderator to the chat because I know you guys get busy. I wanted to make sure I always had coverage. It's just something I had meant to do a while back, and House is pretty consistently here. So I thought, well, that'll make sense. So I know a few of you were like, oh God, here goes. Listen, if he gets out of line, let me know. I'll handle it. But I trust House like I trust Luis Zelaya and Jeremy Benninger. All do a great job moderating the YouTube chat. So thank you guys. What's up, Uriel Villanueva? Y'all, I'm going to tell you right now. Listen, I see Uriel's name, and I got to tell you, the competition for Yard of the Month August is going to be difficult, okay? Uriel got his picture in. Francisco Abarca's got his picture in. Everybody's submitting, and I'm telling you right now, I don't know how I'm going to narrow this down to the top 3. And just like last month, I'm giving away a $50 gift certificate to the restaurant of your choice that sponsors this show. That means Dan Seafood and Wings, 2 locations. That means Crab King's 3 locations that they have, and the Boiled Dragon, who we will start talking about next week, as a matter of fact. So the winner of the Yard of the Month for August is going to get a $50 gift certificate to one of those restaurants. So stay tuned for that. Get your submissions in. Just send them to me on Twitter or on the Discord, or email me, Barry at barryondeck.com. So what's up to Uriel? He's got a Sandoval and H-Town. I see you, buddy. What's up? Jesus Perez. What's up, man? Jesus in the building. Truck and Taco, my dude. What's happening, man? Cowboy Fam. Oh, by the way, Cowboy Fam is here, and he's got a video for you at the break. He's going to teach you how to cook something else. I love these videos. It makes the breaks fun and interesting, and Cowboy Fam does a great job. Make sure you go subscribe to his YouTube channel, Cowboy_Fam. He's going to teach you how to cook and make you look like a hero in your household, because they're going to be like, wow, you can really cook, mom, dad, husband, wife. He's going to take care of it for you. All you got to do is go subscribe to his YouTube channel, and that'll make it easy. What's up, Brandon Martinez? Speaking of moderators, Brandon Martinez, one of the Discord moderators. Appreciate him and Jen doing a great job over there. Billy Keller, what's up, dude? Fidel Limon, PayPal Pete. I hope things are better for you, Jeremy. I hope things are better. I know you were going through some shit yesterday, and I hope it has improved. Fidel Limon, I think I got you already. What's up, man? Keith Sager. My Lawn Talk buddy is in the building. What's up, dude? Hugh, Steve-O is in the house. Alex Villanueva is here. I see you as well. Crystal Collins. What up, Decky Doodles? Who else? I said Total Dallas. Justin Kelm, what's up, dude? Chris Reyes. Tyler Stamper is in the building. Where is it? Tanner Partial. Tanner, what's up, dude? Thank you, man. I appreciate you enjoying the content. That means a lot to me, man. That lets me know I'm doing something right. I hope. Robert Likes Beer. What's up, dude? Who else is here? Who else? Yeah, Ty Stamper, can we hear it one time for our boy keeping it real on Nick is my G. That is 100% fact. John Dory, what's up, dude? Where else? Jeremy Binniger, what's up? Eric Ailman, Jeff Bell, what's up, Jeff? Francisco Abarca, I guess Barry's awake, okay. That's because I got this all up early. What's up, Jen? Hi, Jen. Luis is here. Walt is here. Got to keep it moving. Let's go. Clarence Marshall, let's go. Scroll faster, Barry. 713 Hooligan, there's my sweet Donna. Who else did I miss? PK, what's up, girl? Juan Barrera, what up, Playboy? Pete Jones, what's up? Here's the super chat. This is from PayPal Pete. Laughing my fucking ass off, the GOAT producer Nick. Nick is the GOAT. Nick is my man. And, you know, I thought about, what's up, Katie? Alan Denson, I see you too. I really thought about coming on and addressing this whole situation and just telling you guys my thoughts on it and giving you everything I think about it and just getting it out there. But you know what? It's not going to consume my time. I'm not wasting my fucking time on this foolishness. So I've told you on the Discord, I've told some of you privately, it means nothing to me. I love Nick. That's my dude. We're going to be friends no matter what anybody gets upset about. That's not my problem. I'm here to be positive. How do I close this show every day? Be safe, be kind, love each other. I'm not going to sit here and argue with somebody over something so fucking stupid. So just love each other, okay? And we'll move on. What's up, Scott Hansa? All right, Cowboy Trav, I see you as well. Here we go. All right, let's get this show going because we have a ton of stuff to talk about. Now, on the show today, I'm really excited about my guest, you guys. I really am. So obviously I got the headlines, the Astros, NBA playoffs. I don't know what, I stopped typing like halfway through. I don't know why I did that. But that should have said Masai Ujiri, John Foky. We need to talk about Tom Brenneman. Stacey Dash is in the news. All that stuff and more, but that's all whatever. That's just me talking for an hour. I'm super pumped about hour number 2. A man who you hear every day on your airwaves on Sports Talk 790. You saw him put on a Texans uniform as well as Eagles and the Washington football team. Indy Kalu is joining me. And when I tell you that I'm excited about this, that would be an understatement. Indy Kalu is the man in this town. If you don't know, you need to ask somebody. Probably one of the nicest guys in this business. Really good at what he does. And a fun and interesting dude. Like, he's not just a radio guy. He's not just a football player. So we're going to get into all of that and much more. He's going to join me in hour number 2 via Skype. Now, I am going to have to cut him a little early. He's got some stuff to take care of, so probably 5 minutes short. But whatever. We'll talk about some more shit that I have planned for you after that. So it's going to be a great 2 hours. I'm excited about it. Let's get to it right now with your sports headlines. I feel like there should be like a transition there. Like a dan, 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 like a sound. Like, let's see. What could I transition to? And now it's time for your sports headlines. In the news today, and it really didn't work. That didn't. I shouldn't try that. Hold on. What is this? Clarence, what the fuck are you talking about? First of all, why are you using that word? What? I don't understand what's going on here. Are you suggesting there's no minorities or people of color that are moderators on the chat or on the Discord? Because Brandon Martinez and Jen, who's African American and a female, are both moderators on the Discord. I don't know Jeremy Vinegar, I'm guessing is white. Luis Zalea, not white, I'm guessing. And then Chris Householder. So what? Where's your stance on the fact that my mods aren't diverse? What's up, Riley? What up, man? Where's your no, you don't get to throw out something so inflammatory that you know I'm passionate about. And then just be like, it's a joke. No. Luis, I don't really know what you are, bro. I know it's not white. Is it white? I don't think it's white. I'm not really sure. I don't know. But I will say this. I was triggered, truck driver Pookie. You guys know how I feel when it comes to that stuff. I'm passionate about it. And I'm passionate about making sure that I'm on the right side, and so is everybody else. So God damn it, Clarence. I'm just kidding. Let's get to the headlines. Guys, there's a lot going on in sports. The Pirates president has tested positive for COVID-19. That's not a good thing, but you know what? Don't worry about it. He says it hasn't affected anyone else on the staff, including the players. So Travis Williams tested positive, says he's feeling better already. However, it was another positive test for baseball, but I can't imagine that the president is hanging out with the players on a consistent basis. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. The headline reads, Browns cornerback lacerates liver in practice collision. That sounds pretty awful. They thought it was an abdominal issue. Turns out to be a lacerated liver, which, by the way, if we're just talking about sounds of injuries, I just spit everywhere. What the fuck was that about? Did I get it on the camera? I don't know. If we're talking about injuries that sound bad, lacerated liver sounds awful. Anybody want to take a guess who this was? I'll give you a hint. He's a cornerback, former Texan. Kevin Johnson. If you didn't guess, Kevin hurt again. Not even with the Texans, hurt again. But that sounds awful. That sounds pretty painful. As far as injuries go, I'm gonna say lacerated liver, not fun, not good. Georgia State quarterback has COVID-related heart conditions. So the young man, Mikel Colucerdo, pretty sure I said that wrong, but Mikel Colucerdo, quarterback for Georgia State, was diagnosed with a heart condition linked to COVID-19. And that goes back to the point we made a while back about, yes, these young men and women can get out and play college sports if you want. But if something happens and they get COVID and it spreads and something like that happens and affects the health and safety of just one student, you have to ask yourself, was it worth it? And now we find out, now it's not football related, but he is a football player. So that's something of note. Roy Jones Jr. is threatening to withdraw from his fight with Tyson. They want to move the date so that they can get a crowd and make more money. And he's like, nah, fam, you want to make more money? You got to pay me more money. And I don't want to wait. You said September 12th. I've been training for September 12th. Let's do this. So that fight may not happen. And goddamn it, Roy Jones Jr., if you fuck this up because you want to get paid, I'm going to be so angry. I am so looking forward to Mike Tyson whooping this dude's ass. Really? And it's not even the fact that it's Roy Jones Jr. I have nothing against Roy Jones Jr. I just want to see Mike Tyson destroy somebody. I just want to see that again. It's like nostalgia for me. It harkens back to the golden era of boxing for me as a boxing fan. So I just want to see that. You know, Dre, you're so wrong. And I love you, buddy. Every goddamn second of it. Every second of it. All right, let's keep rolling. Your Astros, speaking of rolling, can we talk for a second about them being, one of the hottest teams in baseball right now? I know. Look, I've not been very high on this team, and rightfully so. You can't blame me. When you look at the roster and the injuries, and you're like, what is How are they are winners of 7 in a row? You know who else has won more than that in baseball? Take a guess. I'll give you a guess. I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3. Nobody. Nobody else has won more than 7 games in a row. The Astros are officially the hottest team in baseball. And they are now 2.5 games back of the Oakland Athletics. Now, the A's won last night. Astros 8-2 in their last 10. And I'm telling you right now, it's good to see them putting up runs. You have to take it with a grain of salt. It is Colorado. So maybe this is what they needed to kickstart the offense, going up to Colorado, putting up some easy runs, hitting the ball out of the yard here and there. Framber Valdez with another nice outing. If you can go 7+ innings and only give up 1 earned run in Colorado, you're dealing, all right? And look at his ERA, 1.72 ERA for Framber. Do my eyes deceive me? Is that what's happening right now? Is this pitching staff actually pitching well? Are the guys that we thought might stumble down the stretch? Uh-oh. I just heard Oliver stutter. Oh, Cowboy fan, what's up, dude? Thank you, man. I promise I'm going to put that on the screen just 1 second. But guys, right now, your team leaders in wins, Belak. ERA, Valdez. Strikeouts, Valdez. Saves, Presley. Holds, Raley. Yeah, Brooks Raley has the most holds on the Astros. Ryan Presley has the most saves on the Astros. Brandon Belak has the most wins on the Astros. And Framber Valdez is your ERA and strikeouts leader. What the hell is happening? And this team is clawing back in it. And look, Zach Greinke is pitching his ass off. Lance McCullers is pitching his ass off. I mentioned Brandon Belak. I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know if you give credit to Dusty Baker at all. So far from what I've seen from him, it's not been awful. I mean, I'm not a fan of the way he manages, but it hasn't been bad. I don't think he's hurt this team. I'm baffled. I'm just as stunned as you guys as to what's going on. I will say this. Here's something I did like, and we talked a little bit about it on the show earlier in the week, but it was nice to see Jose Altuve back in the 2-hole. I said all along, I know he has to be moved down to 6 or 7, but I don't think that's how you're getting out of a slump. If you surround him with quality bats, you're going to make Jose Altuve better because they're going to have to pitch to him. Now, if we want to talk about lineups, if you want to talk about things that I think need to be done with this Astros team right now, first and foremost, go ahead and move Carlos Correa up to the 4-hole. And with Bregman out now, you probably need to move him up to the 3-hole. Because, yeah, if you didn't hear, Alex Bregman hit the IL, going to be on the IL for at least 10 days while he deals with I believe it was a muscle strain. So not good news if you're an Astros fan. More injuries for this team, which is something that they absolutely did not need. But you know what? Again, it was right hamstring strain. That's what it was for Alex Bregman. So another injury, and I keep saying it, just throw in the towel. Who cares about this season? But then they keep winning. They've won 7 in a row. And I'm like, well, this is not a World Series baseball team. This is not a World Series winning baseball team as constructed. If we're being honest, the Rockies were playing above what everybody expected. They beat the Mariners. Whoop-de-doo. Those aren't quality wins. Talk to me when they start playing better teams again on this schedule. That's when you're going to really find out who they are. Talk to me when they play the Yankees again. But this division isn't that difficult. Let's see what they do against the A's again. It's just, it's a mash unit right now, unfortunately, for the Astros, and I don't see it improving anytime soon. So, good for them, though. Another big win, get 7 out of Framber, put up 13 runs, hit the ball out of the park here and there. You got to like that. Now, I know a lot of you are probably not going to be where are we? Well, that's not bad. I expected numbers to be down because of Rockets today, and they start at 2:00, right? So, listen, if you bail on me, I get it. Come back and watch later. It's not going to hurt my feelings. I love having you here. I do. Don't leave me. But if you have to, I get it. Maybe put it on 2 screens or something. But yeah, I'll try to keep you guys updated on the Rockets score if for some reason you're unable to watch it. If you don't want spoiler alerts, well, maybe come back later because they're going to update it in the chat. Cowboy Fam, thank you for the super chat, buddy. He said, shots for Rockets and Astros during the show today. Is it a day game for the Astros? I'm so fucked. Really. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't watch this. But Cowboy Fam, you sent the super chat, my friend. Thank you for your generosity and support of the show. I'm going to do this shot for you, for the Deckheads, for the Astros, because they're playing out of their balls. I think I just made that up. And for the Rockets, who are also playing out of their balls. But this is to all of you. Thank you so much for your continued support and viewership and being here every day. I love hanging out with you. This is my favorite 2 hours of the day. Cheers, salute, all that. I don't know why that would go. What's wrong with my mouth today? What this mouth do? And probably shouldn't have said that. I am way behind on the chat. Oh yeah, the shot should have been for Nick as well. You know what? I owe that. My Fidel, dude, thank you, man. My dude, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yes, Clarence, and they're not, boy. Y'all don't get me litty for Indy Kalu, all right? Justin, you shut your damn mouth. You shut your damn, like, let's all get lit. Oh my God. Yesterday, I was so mad about those groupies. That just really pissed me off. All right, let's keep rolling. Let's talk some NBA playoffs, shall we? Last night, 4 more games in the NBA. I'm loving this. I'm not getting to watch a lot. Listen. Oh, Crystal. Crystal said, I risk my job for you, Barry. I love you, Crystal, and you know that. You know that. I said I would eat a plate of ham and dick for you, Crystal. So I'd say that's even. If you don't know what that is, go back to episode 71. Crystal tricked me. She tricked me. She used Spanish words that I don't know. And my goddamn wife is Hispanic and didn't bother to warn me. Listen, if anyone ever says these words, don't fall for it. Nope. She tells me made up Spanish words. That's what my wife does. She gives me made up Spanish words and sends me out into the world with them. And then I gotta go and I'm using made up words in front of people that speak Spanish. And they're looking at me like, the fuck is this white boy talking about? What is this white boy talk? Like, I'll give you, I think I told this story before, but I'll tell you this story. It's whatever. All right, we're fucking around here. So Nora is obviously Hispanic. I think she's third, fourth generation American. Her parents came over, or her great grandparents came over from Mexico. Grandparents, I don't remember. Anyways, her family's from Mexico, and they've been here for at least 2-3 generations. Okay. So she's obviously speaks Spanish, you would think. Well, she understands Spanish. You can talk Spanish to her and she understands it, but she won't speak it back. She doesn't speak Spanish. Now, her dad spoke Spanish fluently, her mom, all her brothers. The girls, though, never really learned it. And, shut up, Josh. And look, it's okay, Rach. Better late than never. You're here. We're all rocking it. So Nora she knows Spanish, but she won't teach it to me, right? So what I do is I try to listen. Like when I go to her family's house, this is how wonderful my wife's family is. When I'm there, they're all speaking Spanish. Like her dad, may he rest in peace, a wonderful man. One of the most genuinely good human beings I've ever met in my life. Vincent Lucio, an amazing human being, and he's missed every single day. And we would be over at the house, and he would be telling stories, and he would be telling them in Spanish. And this is how cool this man was. Is I was the only white guy at the house, right? There's what, 5 kids, the mom and dad, right? So there's 7 of them plus my white boy ass. And they would be talking in Spanish, and the dad would, Mr. Lucio would be telling a story. And then he would stop and retell it in English for me. Now, how fucking cool is that, right? So they all didn't, instead of teaching me Spanish, they would just talk to me in English, and that's what Nora does. And if you're Hispanic, you know this. and I think white people do this too, but I think Hispanics do this, I feel like, more. But y'all will make up words for shit that don't exist. Y'all will just make up a word for something that there's already a word for. Let me give you an example of what happened. And I know what pinche güero means, underrated mess, and you can chupa mi verga. Oh, what? Oh, shit! Oh, suck it, bitches! Who learned the Spanish? Huh? This guy? Yeah, suck it, underrated mess. You didn't think that was coming, did you, bitch? What? Bam! Okay. Now, this is, look at the chat. It's just going, it's fucking ridiculous right now. So my wife uses made up words. And one of the words is shasha. That's not a fucking Spanish word. Stuttering kitty. We got a super chat, folks. Stuttering Kitty has alerted us. Thank you, Total Dallas. You are a gentleman and a scholar. I appreciate your generosity. He said, my wife is Salvadorian. The only Spanish you need to know is, no me digas. I'm not, see, I feel like I just said something like, I like butthole. I feel like that's what that means. And you tricked me into saying that out loud. Anyways, Nora refers to a blanket as a shasha because I guess one of the nieces, Mandy or Sophie, or one of them couldn't say kulcha, which is blanket. I think kulcha. So they would say shasha. So everyone just calls a blanket a shasha, right? So I meet Nora, we get married. She's always cold. I'm giving you guys the Cliff's Notes version of this. And Nora's like, oh, I need a shasha. I'm cold. I need a shasha. She loves blankets. She loves snuggling under warm, fuzzy, soft blankets. So I'm like, I'm going to get her a shasha for Christmas. And this is at a moment where I was dedicating myself to learning Spanish. It did not go well, obviously. I said I would eat a plate of dicks for Crystal. So I go to Bed Bath & Beyond. And there is a woman working there in the blanket department, in the sheets and all that. And she's Hispanic looking. Now, this is probably racist, but at the time I thought, now's my chance to show off some Spanish. So I go up to this lady who I have no idea what nationality, what her background or origin is. I just assume she's Hispanic. And I go up to her and I say, hola. So far, so good. Hola. I say, ¿Dónde está el shasha? And she goes, What? I was like, oh, did I get the first part right? I know I said, ¿Dónde? Yeah. ¿Dónde está el shasha? And she's like, what? I'm like, shasha? Shasha. You lay down, you put the blanket, lady. Where the blankets at? And she's like, what? Culture? And I was like, that's not how you say it. She's like, well, what the fuck is a shasha? She asked me, what is shasha? I'm like, shasha is blanket, right? She goes, no, sir, that's not blanket. Not at all. That's not even close to blanket. And I'm standing there fucking mortified. So I go home and I ask my wife, I'm like, babe, what the fuck does shasha mean in Spanish? She goes, what are you talking about? I was like, I hear you say shasha all the time. What does it mean in Spanish? She goes, it means nothing. It's just a word we use. It's just, it's supposed to mean blanket. And then she tells me the origin of shasha with culcha and all that bullshit got me out here looking like a fucking asshole in Bed Bath & Beyond. That's my wife. For real. My wife, I can't trust her anymore. And there's the other thing. Here's one more thing about my wife that you guys need to know. And then we got to move on. I did none of my sports stuff, but fuck it. You know what? We're just hanging out. Here's one more thing you need to know about my wife. She's a cheat. She cheated on me. She's a cheater. She has cheated on me, not once, several times has my wife cheated on me. My wife cheats on me all the time when we play Scrabble. She fucking uses made up Spanish words in Scrabble and then argues with me about them. Nora is a fucking cheater, okay? You can't use sha-sha in Scrabble because you got stuck with some C's and H's and make it up, bitch. That's cha-cha. That's not even sha-sha. That's cha-cha, Nora. And she's like, nope, it counts. Write it down. Mark it. Triple word score. I win. That's what she does. She uses incha. She adds a A. Well, my dad said incha all the time. And inch in Spanish isn't incha, is it? I don't even know if that's true or not. How do you say inch in Spanish? But she'll just fucking made up Spanish. And I'm like, why are you using... No, see, here's the thing. Everybody's like, cha-cha is a word. Yeah, it's a dance, but she's saying, I was like, what is that? She's like, sha-sha. I'm like, that's cha-cha. She's like, nope, that's sha-sha. And I'm like, nope, that's not a word. That is a made-up word for blanket that because it's not my fault one of your nieces can't speak Spanish. And now I gotta lose at Scrabble because of it? It's bullshit, okay? Incha, get the fuck out of here. Ain't no fucking incha. Anyways, here's the other thing she does. And since I'm just putting she's going to be so fucking mad about this. I'm putting all her business out there. This is what she does too. This is how big of a cheater my wife is at games. She fucking hates losing. I mean, hates losing. So one time we were like, hey, you do the dishes. She's like, no, you do the dishes. I'm like, no, you do the dishes. And this is what she does. I swear to God. She goes, let's rock, paper, scissors for it. And I'm like, oh, fucking bet. I got to outsmart you? Fucking done. I'm in. Outsmart my wife? Easy. I'm told. She's going rock. There's fucking no doubt she's going rock. So here we go. Rock, paper, scissors. And I go rock because immediately I know she thinks I'm going to go paper. So I'm thinking I'm going to go rock because she's going to go scissors. Bam! I'm going to win. She's got to do the fucking dishes, right? So we go rock, paper, scissors. Bam! And I hit the rock. And can I tell you guys what my wife did? She hit me with rock, paper, scissors, fire. What? She goes, fire. I said, what the fuck is it? There's no fire. It's called rock, paper, scissors. You can't make up fire. What are you talking about? Fire. She goes, yeah, fire. You've never played with fire? No, because it's not rock, paper, scissors, fire. It's fucking rock, paper, scissors. She goes, yeah, fire. It melts rock, makes it lava. Fire. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Well, and then I'm thinking, okay, so let's just assume that this crazy bullshit that she's made up on the fly because she doesn't want to do dishes. Let's assume for a second it's rock, paper, scissors, fire. What beats fire? And I literally ask her that question. What beats fire? And she goes, nothing. What the fuck are what are you talking about? Nothing. That's not how this works. You have to have something that beats fire or it can't be added into the fucking game. Can I get water? Can I get rain at least? Can I at least fucking rock, paper, scissors? What is it? Rock, paper, scissors, fire, rain. It's gotta be something. She goes, nope, that's it. Rock, paper, scissors, fire. Fire melts steel. Fire melts rock. Fire burns paper. Well, why in the fuck, if I knew fire was an option, why would I choose anything else other than fire? And she goes, I know. That's why I was wondering why you did that. Go do the dishes. She's so much smarter than me. Oh, I love her to death. She's the best. But that is a real thing. That is a legit, I'm not making that story up. Ask her when you see her. That actually happened. This woman fucking hit me with fire. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, so she's gonna be angry that I've told you guys all these stories because she's such a private person. But I digress. The hell was that? That was loud out there. I don't know if you guys heard that or not. Okay. Man, we have so much more to get to. It's 2:36. I haven't even finished getting to. We need to talk Tom Brenneman. We need to talk this Masai Ujiri issue. We need to talk John Folke and his fuck up as well. We touched on it with Cody, but I wanted to get into that as well. But before I do that, guys, I have got to tell you, and I am excited to tell you, I am pleased to tell you about Dan's Seafood and Wings. If you are a fan of any of the following foods: Asian-inspired seafood, Latin-inspired seafood, Cajun-inspired seafood, or you're just a fan of wings and the best wing recipes in H-Town, you are going to love Dan's Seafood and Wings. Do yourself a favor right now. You're online. You're watching this on your phone. You're watching this on a web browser, on your laptop or computer at work. Do me a favor right now. Just open up your web browser, go to eatatdans.com and check out the food. You're going to love this food, okay? I promise you that. Boiled spicy shrimp is one of their most popular items that they have. So when you go to Dan's, if you don't know what to get, start with the boiled spicy shrimp and then work your way down from there. Try the New Orleans barbecue shrimp. Try the grilled platter. And listen, I know Francisco... there's Stuttering Kitty. I know Francisco will tell you that the lo mein is to die for. Y'all, Francisco Abarca, one of your fellow deckheads, absolutely loves Dan's. He is a lifer for Dan's. So look, there he is right there. He literally took a selfie in front of Dan's. That's how much he loves it. You're going to love it. Do yourself a favor. Go to one of their restaurants this weekend. We're close. Today's Thursday. Go this weekend and try Dan's. Do me that favor, would you? They've got 2 locations for you. So no matter what side of town you're on, you can get there in less than or around 30 minutes, right? So Southwest Houston, go to 3991 South Gessner, all right? Or if you're on the north side, Northeast Houston, you can go to 18 Uvalde Road. That's where Dan's is located. 2 locations to serve you. They've been serving Houston since 2015, The food's amazing. You're going to love it. And most importantly, by supporting them, you're also supporting Barry on Deck, because David, too, is a deckhead. He's a suspect. And he was like, I want to support your show. I've been talking about restaurants since this show started. And it's all due to David, too. He signed up. He bought the most expensive advertising package. And he said, I support you and I'm here for you. And I believe in the deckheads and I believe in your people. And I want to advertise to them because I want them to try our food. So do me that favor. Go try Dan's Seafood and Wings. I think you're going to like it. Ask Francisco. All right, bet. Let's move on. Lisa O, I heard stuttering Oliver. So I got to, wow, Lisa. That's very generous of you. That was very, very nice of you. You didn't need to do that. I appreciate you, though. That's very kind of you. She said, Nora needs flowers for fire. No! Lisa, I love you, and I appreciate your generosity and support of this show. But if you make me buy Nora flowers, and she cheated and I had to do the dishes, I don't know. Women stick together way more than men do. No man would ever be like, hey, Barry, here's $5 because you had to do the dishes. Guys were like, fucking idiot. Yeah, you had to do dishes. You fell for fire. Who falls for fire? But that's how dudes are. But ladies, look at Lisa coming through. Go buy Nora some flowers. Lisa, I love you and I appreciate you, but that is going to go to the BiffNet Studios. That's going to go towards helping build out the BiffNet Studios so that we can take this bitch worldwide. It ain't buying Nora flowers. Nora's a cheater. It ain't happening. All right. Oh, shit. I still have not sent Jenny, mom, flowers yet. And I owe her flowers. And apparently I owe her lunch because of you guys. Oh, what's up, Christopher Mina? Barry on Deck in the pool. It's a good Thursday. That is dope, man. That is dope. How do you know? How did you guys know that I still haven't bought flowers? Chris, BiffNet greater than Nora. Well, I mean, you said it, not me. Am I a little like, that's a little bright there. Is that better? I feel like that's better, right? Like that was a little hot right there, right? That makes me look all white, and that's better. Yeah? P. Jones, you got outsmarted, Barry. Get over it. Bro, every day, my wife outsmarts me every day. Okay? So it ain't nothing new to me. I'm just sharing the stories with you guys. Clarence is out here promoting domestic violence. Next time, hit her with that rock, paper, scissors suplex. I just unplugged my headphones. No, Clarence, I'm not suplexing my wife. First of all, I'm pretty sure she's stronger than me. So I'm not doing that. Oh, wow. Can I tell you guys how impressed I am with Dr. Dre hitting me with the King T reference? That, my friend, if I could send you a super chat, Dr. Dre on 290, I would. Because that is a hell of a reference. For the rest of you, go out right now. Do me a favor. Go Google King T, King space Tee, and then Funky Piano. It is a fantastic song. You're going to dig it. Go check it out. That's a good one. All right, Rockets up 5-4 early against OKC. 9:53 left in the first. There's your update. All right, suck it. Here we go. Guys, we need to talk about some other stuff. I didn't even get to these sports. Man, I only got 15 minutes left. Wow, way off track, Barry, way off track. Anyways, Raptors beat the Nets 104-99. The Jazz beat the Nuggets after dropping the first one because they fucked up. Let's be real. But the Jazz come back and tie up the series 1-1, 124-105. Celtics rout the 76ers 128-101. I'm going to be honest with you. The Raptors, Nets, and Celtics 76ers series are done. We can all agree on that, right? Those are done. That's it. Mavericks beat the Clippers 127-114. I see you, Dallas. I see you, total Dallas. I see you, Dallas Mavericks. And they did all that without Luka Doncic, who was in foul trouble all game. And if you're a Clippers fan, if you're the Clippers, you look at that and go, damn. We lost and they really never got anything out of Luka Doncic in that whole game. That's scary. Clippers have way too much talent to let that happen. There's no reason that should happen. But Dallas isn't going away. Dallas isn't scared of the Clippers. And I almost want to say it's because Luka Doncic is too young and too dumb to be scared of Kawhi Leonard and Paul George and the Clippers and their depth with Pat Beverly. Lou Williams was fucking balling out yesterday. Didn't matter. It didn't matter. Total Dallas said we should be up a 2-0. Well, slow down. Oh, look at this. Astros up 3-0 in the second inning. About to get that sweep home and home. Literally going to sweep the Rockies all 4 games, home and home. Apparently Altuve with a double in the second. Good deal. 2 RBIs. Mavericks are giving the Clippers some fits, and that's surprising me. So I'm going to be honest. These NBA playoffs are not what I expected, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to watch teams that you thought are just going to run through the Western Conference struggle. I love seeing Dallas giving the Clippers all they can handle. I love seeing Portland come out and punch the Lakers in the mouth. This is exactly what their sport needed. It's outstanding. I'm excited for it. I'm here for it. As long as the Rockets handle the Thunder. Other than that, I'm here for it, man. I'm digging it. Right now, 11-8, Thunder up. Moa. It's a little early to panic. Astros up 5 already? Wow. That's crazy. All right, good stuff. We need to talk about this. I have really 3 things that involve social issues that we need to talk about. In sports. It's sports related. We need to talk about Tom Brenneman. We need to talk about Masai Ujiri. And we need to talk about John Foky. So let's do this. Since it happened today, or last night, let's talk about this Tom Brenneman thing. Now, actually, you know what? I want to save that because this is the video is from Fox Sports Ohio. So I don't want to get kicked off the air by YouTube when I'm about to bring Indy Kalu on for a whole hour to have fun and talk shit. Tomorrow, Jesse Payton joins me. He's a funny dude. Jesse would understand if that happens. We're good. So instead, let's first talk about something we touched on yesterday with Cody Stutes. Let's talk about this John Folke tweet that he sent out. John Folke sent out a tweet watching the Jazz versus the Denver Nuggets. And he tweeted out and said, shot making in this Jazz inward game is awesome. Murray and Mitchell going back and forth. What a game. And he meant to type Nuggets. And maybe he did. And we don't know for sure if it was autocorrect. Maybe he was using speech to text and it thought he said something he didn't. I don't know how that happened. I do have thoughts on this, though. That's the wrong slide. I do have thoughts on this because let's be real about this for a second. And you guys, if you've been a fan of me for any length of time, you know that you know where I stand on issues like this. And I will say this about John Folke. I don't think that nobody, look, let's be honest. Nobody in this day and age that we're living in this push to level up social justice, to push for more equality, to push to end police brutality. Nobody is sending out a tweet deliberately saying that. Nobody's that stupid. Now, I tried on my phone to see if my phone would auto-correct that like it apparently did for him. Like, I typed in Jazz Nuggets. And then I typed, instead of a U in Nuggets, I used an I. Because they're close. I tried to misspell Nuggets so that it might lead autocorrect to post a racial slur. And it never did. Now, I don't know if I'm not technologically savvy enough to know if that is a learned behavior on the phones. If maybe there's a filter where you turn off swear words or, offensive language and your autocorrect will do that. But I don't think John Folke sat down and typed that word out. Now, the question and the argument is and will be, he used it before. And we don't know. We don't know. I'm not an autocorrect expert. What I will say is, I don't think John Folke is racist. I don't think he meant to send that word. I don't think it was intentional. Okay, now this is where the question becomes. Justin Swinford said, Apple will, Android won't. Because my Android didn't do it. Amos Johnson said, you have to type that word daily for your phone to autocorrect to that. That is the argument as to how this happened. That is one of the arguments. So we don't know. What I will say is that when something like this happens, you have to look around and see the kind of support or lack of support that a person gets. And there were plenty of people that came to the defense of John Folke in this and said, look, I know him as a person. That's not who he is. That's not how he is. As long as I've known him, I've never known him to talk like that or use that word. So I don't know. And we will probably never know. It's unfortunate, but I think at the end of the day, the lesson here is y'all bitches got to proofread. Me included. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't proofread my shit. I just type and go. So there by the grace of God go I. If my phone were to autocorrect a word into a racial slur or something offensive like that, It's highly possible, and I mentioned this yesterday to Cody Stoots when he was on. I sent out a word. I typed in a message and hit send, and it had auto-corrected to a word, and I don't even remember what it was. It sounded racist. It felt racist. It felt offensive. Fortunately, it was not. Fortunately. But it's highly likely that I don't proofread 95% of my tweets, my texts, and my posts. Now, sometimes I use speech to text, and I don't proofread that either. I just talk and send. I'm not letting him off the hook, but I'm just saying I need all the info. Now, Tom Brenneman, that's another story. Take a listen to this. Tom Brenneman, if you didn't hear the news, Tom Brenneman had a hot mic, which is a radio play-by-play, anybody in this business, me included, going live. It's our worst nightmare. My worst, actually, you guys know my worst nightmare, is that I forget to turn off the go live and then jerk off in front of the entire world. If I'm being honest, that's my worst nightmare. That's why we've established that I go to the car. If I'm going to masturbate on any given day, I take my laptop and I go to the car. It's safe there. I mean, not really, because my laptop has a picture, but our camera. But a hot mic is any person that talks into a mic. It's our biggest fear. It was my biggest fear daily when we did The Usual Suspects, because the best segments, the most shit talking, went on between shows, between segments. That was the real show, and you guys missed it all. And yeah, they have the Twitch now, but that's all fake bullshit. I know they have the Twitch live at the breaks. They're all aware of it. Whatever you're hearing at that moment, you're not eavesdropping and getting the scoop or getting inside baseball that they didn't. They're all aware of what's there. Everything that's being said is calculated. So don't let the guy that's in this time slot 2 to 4 fool you and made everybody else do it. That's how that happened, by the way. They know it's on. But Tom Brenneman used a slur that is offensive to gay people. The F word. And called, I think it was KC, the F word capital of the world. His mic was hot. He said it. This wasn't an autocorrect. These are words that came out of his mouth. He referred to it as the F word capital of the world. A slur for gay people. So that happened, and he still did the play-by-play. And during the game, this is what during the game, yeah, fuck it. You know what? We'll do it. During the game, this is what he said. Check this out.
Myself and think of myself as a man of faith. As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run.
So he starts off by saying, I think of myself as a man of faith. And anytime somebody fucks up, it's the first thing they do. They're like, yo, Jesus, I fucked up. I need some help down here. I said some shit I shouldn't have said. I'm going to try to impress everybody with my religion in an attempt to excuse my behavior. I'm sorry, Tom. But if you were really a man of faith, do you think Jesus ever called anybody that word? Do you think that Jesus ever called anyone that slur because they were gay? I don't think so, Tom. I think you spoke your truth. He went on to say,
myself and think of my, and so that'll make it a 4-0 ball game.
Now,
there's a drive in a deep, a man of faith. As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos.
Here's the crazy thing, right? Is he says, he's like, listen, I have a man of faith. I don't believe that. There's a drive deep. That's going to put the Reds up right there. That's 7 runs, a home run by Castellanos. That dude is a play-by-play guy. He's in the middle of bearing his soul and going, oh my God, I'm about to lose everything I've ever worked for because I'm a fucking dumbass and said something into a hot mic. But I'm still a professional. There's a deep drive. That fucking blew my mind watching this. That was absolutely insane.
A home run. And so that'll make it a 4-0 ball game. I don't know if I'm going to be putting on this headset again. I don't know if it's going to be.
I don't know if you should.
I don't know if it's going to be from my bosses at Fox. I want to apologize for the people who signed my paycheck.
Here's the problem. So he says he starts off by apologizing to the people that signed his paycheck. And that's kind of where I have a problem. We'll pick this back up in a second. But he starts off by saying, I want to apologize to the people that signed my paycheck. You should have apologized to the people that you offended first. He will get to that in the video. But if it's me, and I believe he's groveling. I believe that he's on his knees saying, please, for the love of God, I've got bills to pay, mouths to feed, kids or whatever. I believe that he is sorry he got caught. But if that were the case, and this is all off the cuff in the moment, so, no PR person wrote this for him. So you've got to give him a little bit. A lot of these bullshit ass apologies come from people that, it's been written for them. So this is heartfelt. But he starts off by apologizing to the people that signed his check, and I think that was a mistake. I think he should have started with the people that he offended.
For the Reds, for Fox Sports Ohio, for the people I work with, for anybody that I've offended here today.
There we go.
I can't begin to tell you how deeply sorry I am.
I believe him.
Not who I am, and never has been. And I'd like
now he says it's not who I am, and it never has been. And that's the decision. That's the conflict we have. Can you say those things and not really mean them? And I'm going over, and it's gonna be a shorter break. Can you say those things and not really mean them? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Have you ever said words that you just say and you don't mean? Back in the day, that F word, that offensive F word, I used it. It was just a thing. As a kid, you would call somebody that. You didn't mean it as a slur. It's a fact. You'd be like, even now, it's offensive to be like, oh, that's so gay. And that's become offensive. And we've become better as a society. We've learned to not say those things. But 15, 20 years ago, when I was in junior high in 84? You didn't know any better. So maybe he just didn't know any better. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't hate gay people. He just uses that word. I don't know. It is one of those things that we're going to continue to have to figure out as a society. But he fucked up. He's been suspended. He hasn't been fired yet. We'll find out. All right, I've got to get to a break. So here's the thing. I was going to run you guys a special break from Cowboy Fam, but I don't want to go over anymore. So I've got to get, I'm already going to be short on time with Indy Kalu. I'm going to run the normal break. I'm going to go to use the restroom real fast. I'm going to come right back. We're going to get Indy Kalu on. Hour number 2 is going to be amazing. This is a short break, 2-3 minutes at max. Don't go anywhere. We're back in a couple of minutes. This is Barry on Deck. I'm your host, Barry Laminack. See you shortly. number 2 of Barry on Deck is upon us. I promise you a short break. I just, had to pee real fast. It's the whiskey shots. What are you going to do? But joining me now, I am so excited about my next guest joining me on this show. Joining me on Barry on Deck, a man that needs no introduction, but I would be an asshole if I didn't give him one because he is absolutely worthy of a proper introduction. You listen to him every single day on Sports Talk 790's In the Trenches. You watched him play for your hometown Houston Texans. If you're an Eagles fan or a Washington football team fan, you watched him play there as well. Maybe you went to Rice. Maybe you're a Rice out grad. Maybe you bought real estate from him. The man does it all. And he is here today, and I'm excited. Indy Kalu joins me. Indy Kalu, how are you, my friend?
Man, I'm good. Appreciate the introduction. Cheers to you.
Hey! Cheers to you as well.
I'm pumped to be here.
What are you drinking? What do you got going there?
You know what? I used to be a Crown and Coke guy, Barry, but, when you get older and it's hard to keep the body fit, they told me that vodka was gluten-free, so I became a dirty martini guy. So just straight olive juice and vodka right here.
I love it. I got Indy Kalu on the show drinking martinis. If you would have told me when I started this show, you're going to get Indy Kalu, I would have said, nah, probably not. And you're going to get him drinking martinis, I'd have been like, now you're fucking with me. Now you're just making shit up. No way. That's dope. So when did you make the switch? Because I'm still on whiskey. I don't know. I'm still...
I made it about 3 years ago. I won't get too into it, but I read this book called Wheat Belly. And it was like half conspiracy, half dietary book. And it talked about why you should eliminate all wheat from your diet. And again, Crown and Coke, that was my go-to drink. So I did this thing for about 6 months, lost 45 pounds. And the last thing I had to eliminate was my Crown, which was tough. So I said, well, I got to get something to get me bent. So I went straight to the vodka. Now it's my drink. It's my drink now.
Are you now? See, when I started this show, Indy, I had this thing where I would tell everybody I don't drink. I'm a Crown guy myself. Now I'm Crown and Diet Coke because once I quit smoking, I went from 150 pounds to 220 pounds, and that was. Now, also, it doesn't help having a Hispanic wife that likes, Hispanic foods all the time and eating tortillas and shit. But that was my big problem. So I had to switch to a Diet Coke. So I do enjoy Crown and Diet. It's not the same, but it's close. But I didn't realize that because I want to diet in September. Are you telling me that I'm going to have to stop drinking whiskey? Because I never claimed to be a drinker until the show started. And these people have turned me into an alcoholic. Do I have to stop this to get slim?
No, it sounds like you need to start smoking again. If you gained 70 pounds when you stopped smoking, don't make it harder than it is. It sounds like you need to get that Marlboro back or the Newports if you're smoking with the brothers. Smoking again.
It wasn't Newports. It was Marlboros. It was Marlboro Light 100s. But bro, I think because I used to smoke a cigarette after there were certain times when there was. Have you ever smoked a cigarette in your life? I'm guessing no.
Black and Miles. I love Black and
Okay.
Miles.
But there were times I started smoking when I was 13 years old, which is fucking stupid. And I quit at like 31, 32, something like that. But after sex, after dinner, or after any meal, when I first woke up, when I drank coffee or alcohol and sitting in traffic. And all that was literally like a daily occurrence. So it was so difficult. So what you end up doing is you end up replacing that with food, candy, snacks, ice cream after a meal. That's why I got fat. It was my fault. But I'm like, okay, I'm not an athlete. I've never had an athletic body. But it's so hard now at 46 to lose weight. So I feel like I'm going to try vodka for September because I'm almost out of this whiskey. So if I'm not skinny because of you, Indy, I'm going to be pissed.
Well, you got to do vodka and cut out the wheat. Anything else you can have. So like when I first started this, I was still going through the drive-thru at McDonald's, getting a double cheeseburger, but I was taking off the buns.
Okay.
Cheese. I love wings, so there's a little sports bar by my house. Instead of getting the wings and the tater tots that were breaded, it's just straight wings. So that's why they said it really wasn't a diet. It was just cutting wheat out. If you just cook, but you can't half-ass it. You can't like cut it out one day, eat a little. If you completely cut it out, not only does the weight drop off, Barry, man, all the things the book, I don't know if it was the placebo effect because I read it, then I thought I was experiencing it, but I've had multiple surgeries from football. Mm-hmm. I didn't feel any of my knee pains. I woke up, my neck wasn't as bad as it usually was. But I will say this, because I don't want to sound like I'm some ultra disciplined guy. I got my teeth pulled, which is the biggest racket in the world. I didn't even need them pulled, but the dentist said I did. So they screwed everything up. They don't know about these Nigerian teeth. You can't use the same tools for you. You got to use something else for me. So they cracked it was an unsuccessful procedure to the point where I could only have soup and bread, emphasis bread, for about a month. And then when I was better, I thought, okay, I'll get back off the bread. I'm still trying to get off the bread.
Really?
I didn't realize how much I loved bread until I got back on it, and now I'm trying to get off it again.
It's like crack, bro. Like bread and ice cream and shit. If I could mainline it like a heroin addict, I would totally be pumping cookies and cream into my veins. It's like crack.
I'm with you. Like, times I'm not even hungry, but I just got to get that butter toast just because it's there. So I feel you on that one.
I literally this morning had 2 bagels. No one's is supposed to eat 2 bagels for one breakfast. But,
right.
You know, I love fucking bread. What are you going to do? Anyways, cheers to you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you and the Deckheads as well. This is my shot of whiskey for you guys. I owed them that. Now, Crystal Collins sent a super chat. She said, I love him again. Go Spurs. You're a San Antonio guy, right? Like,
I love Houston.
Yep.
Now, I moved to when I was 17 when I signed on with Rice. But I'm an SA fool is what we call it. Look, I used to joke around because I have a whole lot of Mexican friends, obviously, growing up in San Antonio. Yes. And we love being from San Antonio, SA. And I would always say, I'm so SA, they think I'm an SA. And they used to love that. So, I represent San Antonio any chance I could get.
That's dope. So why do you think, San Antonio is what now, one of the 6 largest cities in the country? Last
I checked, I thought it was 8, but 8? It might be 6.
Why can't we get a football team in San Antonio? I'm serious. Like there's got to be a reason. That town would go absolutely batshit crazy for a football team.
Jerry Jones, being the smart businessman that he is, he understands that San Antonio is cowboy country, and he knows they get a football team, which they absolutely would be able to support, which they absolutely deserve. He understands that you're talking about over 1 million fans that he's no longer going to have.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. It's a shame too, right? Like you feel like if they put it somewhere in northern San Antonio, you could pull from Austin, you have New Braunfels. That's a big area. It's a well-populated area.
And the fans, they love their sports. Look at the way they support the Spurs. I don't want to say it's a great sports town. It's not New York. It's not Philly. But they can definitely support a football team.
Well, we don't know. Indeed, it might be a great sports town, but no one's given them the opportunity to be a multi-sport sports town.
Right.
They're like, okay, you have basketball. Shut up. You're San Antonio. You have the Alamo.
Right.
Which I got to tell you, as an out-of-towner, my first trip to the Alamo, really disappointing. Can we agree on that?
You know what? You want to hear something bad?
Don't you say it. Don't you say it.
Look, brothers,
there's
no time in a brother's lifetime when he's 17 or under where he's like, hey, Jamal, you want to go to the Alamo? No, I want to go to Ingram Park Mall and try to pick up some of these hoes. Like, I don't want to go no damn Alamo. Like,
is there any hoes at the Alamo? No.
They didn't want us at the Alamo back when it was built. We don't want to go there now. No, I'm going to Ingram Park Mall.
Okay, fair enough. Because I gotta tell you, as a native Houstonian, never been to Johnson Space Center, never been to I think I went to the Washington Monument or the San Jacinto Monument as a kid, but I don't remember it. So yeah, I don't go to a lot of this shit around here either. It's just never been one of those things, right?
Yeah, but I will say one of my regrets. I lived in Philadelphia for 6 years playing for the Eagles. Mm-hmm. I didn't go see a cracked bell. I didn't go see anything. Like in that I'm like, come on, you can't be there.
I took my wife to Philly. We went on a vacation about 4 or 5 years ago. We went to Philly and then we took a train down to DC, and that was we spent like 10 days up there in that area. I loved Philly, and I know it's probably pretty racist, but just as far as like history and stuff, it was and not that our history in this country is great,
right,
but the nostalgia of it was really badass. And I gotta tell you, you ain't missing shit with the Liberty Bell either. You ain't missing shit with the Alamo. The Liberty Bell is like as big as this bottle of whiskey.
Really?
It's fucking tiny, Indy. I walked up. I was like, okay, what is that? They're like, that's the Liberty Bell. I was like, nope, that's not big enough to represent freedom. That's got to be bigger than that. It's this little ass fucking bell.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
It's tiny. I mean, it's not like, but I'm expecting this bell that would be at the top of a monument, right? Like, I'm expecting a bell bigger than me. I mean, bro, it's like you would see a bell on a yacht. It's not that fucking, it was horribly disappointing.
That is, well, you know what? I'm glad I didn't waste my time.
Because you'd be like, all right, that was stupid. But I love Philly. Did you like living in Philly? Was it a good city to live in, or was it just a job?
Oh no, I loved it. Like when I think of Philadelphia, that was like a culture shock for me. That was the first time, as weird as it may sound, growing up, all I knew was black, white, Mexican. Yeah, and I'm not even saying Hispanic. I'm talking about the brothers and sisters from Mexico. So then I go to Philadelphia and I see this fine Puerto Rican chick, and I'm like, hey, I'm down with the Mexicans. What's up? And she wants to fight me, and I'm like, oh, like, you're speaking Spanish. What's the problem? Like, you know, why are you so offended? But then I really opened my eyes to different cultures, even cultures within our culture, if that makes sense. Like the brothers up there wearing Timberlands with shorts. You know, I was like, what is that? Like, no, like we wear Air Force Ones and starch our jeans to the point where they can stand on their own. So, and they have now everyone's doing it, but they had what we call the freeway beards, the James Harden beards.
Yes.
Yeah, like they were doing that back in the 90s, 2000s. So it was just cool just to see you could be in the same country, same race, and how different the culture is and was.
It's like that throughout, right? Like, I mean, and it's not just exclusive to African Americans. Mm-hmm. I mean, white people, Hispanics, when you, like you said too, the Latin culture, Latinx people, from here to New York to Chicago to LA, it's all different. Right. And that's the beautiful thing, but it is a lot of culture shock, right? Like,
absolutely. Yeah. And the weather, scraping ice off your car, but those fans are nuts. I loved it. I just loved being up there. Now I couldn't live up there. That's why I got back to Houston as soon as possible. But it's definitely is an experience that I'll remember, and not just remember, but cherish for the rest of my life.
Is it as bad as people say with Philly fan? Because, I mean, we talked about this all the time on the radio, and I'm sure you guys talk about it too, with the batteries and Santa and booing. And look, Philly as a fan base, I don't know playing for them, but you can clearly see, what was it, the Vikings game? They booed a baby. Like, literally, there was a couple in Minnesota gear walking their baby in a stroller who had on him, and a Philly fan just boos a fucking baby in his face. They called Millie. You remember Millie? Was she the Notre Dame lady, or who was Millie?
Like the real old lady?
The real old lady. I don't remember what basketball fan, but Millie was like this. They called her the C word on the streets of Philly. Is it that bad, Indy? Really? Is it like that?
It's like that, and they take pride in it. They take pride in it. Before I give you this one example, I'll give them props. They're passionate, they're fanatical at times, but they're very smart. They're smart fans. They understand what's going on. Yeah, they're in tune. But it got to the point where they took pride in the whole stereotype of the Philly fan. The only time I was disappointed, I was actually at the game when Michael Irvin was hit and he broke his neck, and you didn't know if he was paralyzed. And they cheered so loud when he's laying there in the stretcher. That was the one time where I was like, y'all took it a little bit too far. But other than that, the fights are real. Like when I was a rookie and it was all new to me, we would just be sitting on the sideline looking in the stands, just seeing where we can find the fights, because every home game, somebody's fighting. There's multiple fights. My big welcome to the NFL moment, we're at training camp, Barry, and this was actually pretty cool. And at our training camp, when they opened it up, you're talking about thousands of people. They're just watching us practice. I still won't understand that, but it happens.
I don't either. I really.
Yeah, I love it. I appreciate it as a player, as a former player, but I don't understand it.
Look, I'll say it because I know you can. I look at it, I'm like, y'all are fucking weirdos. You go to practice? Who the fuck? Hey, I need a day off so I can go in the fucking heat and watch dudes just walk through plays? No. I'll say it for you. Okay, I digress. Go ahead.
So, no, real quick. So we were, we're practicing, and some guy, for whatever reason, thinks it'll be cute to show up in an Emmitt Smith jersey. So he goes and he stands in the middle of the crowd. And, brother, I'm not exaggerating. They whooped his ass and they ripped the jersey off him. He runs to the police. Then the police comes back with him. And I'm thinking, the police they're about to arrest somebody. They get his jersey, they give it to him, and they say, you shouldn't have worn this. Now you need to leave. I was like, that's when I said, yeah, it's different in Philly.
Philly is real. Philly is real. Yeah, you're not getting that in Houston. We're too nice almost. As a fan base, Texans fans are too nice.
How can I turn my ringer off so we don't get disturbed? I don't know technology.
No, listen. What do you have, iPhone or Android? Because I don't know. We don't care. Dude, I'm telling you, literally every show I have a technology problem. So, I mean, a ringer that's small potatoes. So don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. So is the one thing I'm always curious about. I had Jerome Solomon, a good friend of mine, on the show a couple times, and he worked for the Boston Herald in Boston. And, Boston is notoriously known to be a little racist as a city. And I think Philly gets that reputation as well. Is that warranted? Did you feel that kind of vibe as well? Or are they just crazy people?
That's a good, I never felt that it was racist. And that's actually my first, well, look, there's racism everywhere. Sure. People need to quit crying about it. It is what it is. But the one thing I noticed about Philly, it was very segregated, but not in a bad way. It was like, that's where the Italians live. That's where the Puerto Ricans live. That's where the Colombians live. That's where, and even within the white folks, there's like different kind of white folks. That's the white folks that whoop your ass. Those are the ones that are just going to call the police on you. And that's where the Jamaicans live. So it was very segregated. But I never felt, and obviously being a football player, I'm sure I don't feel or didn't feel what the everyday person went through. But it was more just, this is the Italian side. Go pick up some Italian food. It was awesome. One time, I walked into a cheesesteak factory, little cheesesteak store with the sandwiches, Philly cheesesteak. Uh-huh. And it was real late. I think I'd been partying. I was drunk. I was by myself. And I walked in, and a bunch of Italian-looking dudes with the beautiful suits on. They were like huddled up at a table. I walked in. They all looked at me. I did a U-turn and just walked right back out because I was like, I don't know what they're talking about. They're not going to accuse me of knowing.
The ball's on this guy. You're like, nope. Nope. I know that saying. That's a mob thing. I'm fucking nope. I saw Fear City on Netflix.
And it's a shame. They could have all been doctors. But
right, Philly doctors. The balls on this guy. I had to remove them. It was like cancerous. That's outstanding. Oh, real quick, I got a super chat from Total Dallas. Thank you for the super chat, Total Dallas. He said, I got in a fight for wearing an FC Dallas jersey in the rowdy section of a Dynamo match. You believe that? You believe that Dynamo fans would fight anybody? Do you believe there are Dynamo fans, first of all?
I'm sure they're there. They've won a bunch of championships, so let's give them credit.
True.
But that's hard to believe. That's hard to believe.
I don't feel like, unless Houston fans are provoked, I feel like, and maybe this is just my naivety as a Houston fan, I feel like we're one of the nicer fan bases in sports. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, but I don't think anything's wrong with that. I would rather be not. You know what? I'd rather represent the fan base that during the game they're talking trash. Take that. You see the touchdown Will Fuller made, blah, blah, blah. But when the game's over, they fist bump and, hey, appreciate you coming. Like, I don't want them. There was an ugly scene when the Cowboys, and I believe it was a preseason game, I'm sure you remember this, the Cowboys fans and the Houston Texan fans, they got into it during tailgating to the point where they even had to change some tailgating rules.
Yep.
As much as I love violence, that was a bad look.
Yeah. But I think that was more of, and I've never understood that, Indy. I've never understood, as a native Houstonian, I've never understood our fascination with hating Dallas. Look, I hated the Cowboys coming up, but that was because my uncle and my cousin were obnoxious Cowboy fans. And if it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't have hated the Cowboys, but then it becomes ingrained in you. And, as a rivalry goes, I think Dallas people will tell you, we don't give a shit about Houston. It's just us that are obsessed with Dallas and hating on Dallas. And I've never understood it, but it exists. And so I think that's probably, I feel like I do remember that incident, and I feel like that's more of an isolated thing, and because of the Dallas rivalry versus what would normally happen when an opposing team comes down here.
Man, you nailed it. And it's funny. I feel like I have a story for everything you're saying. So if it gets annoying, let me know.
No, that's the whole point of this. Please, story on.
Coming from San Antonio, we looked up, especially the brothers, we looked up to Houston because y'all had things we just didn't know even existed, like MLK swap meet. Like some weekends we would drive up just so we could go to the swap meet in the 90s and buy 3 T-shirts for $10. Come back to San Antonio, we the only ones with it. So like we always looked up to Houston, the home of the greatest rapper in the history of rap. Scarface is from Houston.
Oh, thank you. I got to stop you for a second. You're one of the few people that have acknowledged Scarface as one of the greatest rappers of all time. He never comes up in the conversation.
It's ridiculous. In my opinion, I'm a little bit biased. In my opinion, he's the greatest rapper of all time. And when you talk about the lyrics, when you talk about how long the longevity, storytelling, you got your hype music that he could do and the laid back music. I mean, the dude, he's a beast. But so when I got into sports talk radio, right after I retired from the NFL, that's when I first realized, there's this Houston-Dallas rivalry. I never even knew about it because, again, coming from San Antonio, we always looked up to Houston. So then I was doing some business in Dallas with a bunch of middle-aged men, and I asked them, I was like, hey, what do you think about the rivalry between y'all and Houston? And they're like, we don't think about it. And I was like, damn, that's the worst thing you could say. You'd rather say, I hate them blank, and they think this. But they were like, no, we don't even think about them. So
it's a serious inferiority complex in the part of Houstonians. And I'm a part of it. I'm guilty of it. I mean, and I try to be more objective, as a stand-up comic. I travel. I do a lot of shows in Dallas and Fort Worth. And I talked about the Metroplex, and it pissed a lot of Houstonians off because I was like, let's be real. Dallas, Fort Worth, that's a cleaner, nicer city than Houston is. I love my city. I put down for my city. I will always, but this is a dirty fucking town. If you just look at the streets of Houston, there's fucking weeds growing on 610. That shouldn't be a thing.
You're right about that. I mean, and I know this isn't funny, but lately my office is off 610 in Maine, in between Kirby and Maine. Mm-hmm. And you just see so many homeless people and folks asking for and again, I'm not
getting out of hand.
Joke, but they need to do something because Houston's great of a city to have that.
I know, I agree. There's that one underpass near Minute Maid where I think it's near the Star of Hope. And it's become just a tent town. And it's like, man, you guys, as a city, we have to know that people are coming in for games. People are coming in for sporting events. They're going to downtown. Let's find a place for them to live. Let's get them a shelter or something. But that is a problem that I don't think this city We're more worried about potholes than we are homeless people. Right. I think our priorities need to shift a little bit to maybe take care of some of these folks that don't have a place to live. It's bad.
But I will say this. I've invested, and I know people that work with the shelters, and there's a lot of mental illness. A lot of them, they would rather be under the bridge in a shelter. So
really?
Yeah, and it blew my mind when I was walking the streets. And like I said, we did some work with some of the structures, and the people that work it every day, God bless them, more power to them. But they're like, Indy, you'll be surprised. A lot of them don't want to come into the shelter.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So I guess, I mean, look, you can't help people that don't want to be helped. And, If you've ever known an addict in your life, then you know that that's the case. Once they want help, once they've hit their rock bottom and decide they want to turn things around, that's when whatever you want to provide to them can be beneficial. But until then, yeah, that makes sense. That's sad, but that's the reality of it. I got to tell you, look, I didn't want to come on and, pardon the language, just suck you off right off the bat, but I have been a fan of In the Trenches. How long has this show been around? When you guys started that, how long have you been doing that show?
If you include when we're at 6'10", we're coming up on 10 years now, which blows my mind.
That's crazy, Indy.
Because I was like, man, we suck. Like, I'll listen to it, and I'm like, we suck. But people will be like, man, we love the show, and it'll be like a backhanded compliment. Like, I've had people tell me on multiple occasions, man, the reason I really love your shows is because y'all don't sound all good and clean and crisp as the other shows. It just sounds like two guys talking. I'm like, I think that's a good thing.
You're like, wait a minute. Thank you, I guess. No, I tell you what, you get guys like, as a former radio guy, you get guys like me that get on the air and we give opinions, and it's all we can do because I never played football past junior high. I never played sports past junior high. So, my job is to give opinions and talk and be entertaining and funny. But when you can find somebody that is good at radio, knows the sport, played the sport, and knows the business, dude, it's the perfect fit. And I was really sad to hear when Greg Cook had to leave the show. That sucked, man, because I got to tell you, and people are going to think I'm lying just because you're here, but I swear to you, because I'm going to mention another name. I used to work for Halliburton before I got into IT, or before I got into radio. I used to be in IT. I worked for Halliburton, and I used to drive around the city a lot. I was a project manager. And I would drive around and listen to In the Trenches and Matt Thomas every fucking day. I didn't like. I wasn't a 6'10" guy. I didn't even know ESPN 97.5 existed yet. I'm sorry. But I would listen every day, man. And what you guys had was something that nobody else could duplicate because it was two football players that knew sports in general, but could also talk into a microphone and not just be like, it was beautiful, man. It really is a beautiful show you guys had.
I appreciate that, and that means a lot because, a lot of times sometimes I'll be like, you know what, I just do it for fun. It's not what pays the bills, but when people say what you just said, it kind of jolts me into, nah, fool, you better take this serious and make sure. Because there'll be some days I go into the studio and I'm like, man, I ain't watched that game. I haven't read any article. I'm just gonna wing it. But then when I hear people say, man, I love listening, I tune in, I drive a truck, it's like, okay, I owe it to them to watch the baseball game or watch. Matter of fact, there's a game on right now, so I'm gonna get caught up on that later.
There's two. Astros and Rockets are playing, and I'm like, nobody's watching this right now. It's not you, Indy. Actually, there's 72 people. I'm actually, normally I'll average between 80 and 100 per show. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually surprised that we have 70 because when you got two sports teams in this town playing in the middle of the day, that ain't bad. You're a draw, Indy. You got the people out. I could certainly be okay with 30. So you're definitely a draw.
Astros and the Rockets. Come on, man. Who's your scheduler? Y'all schedule. I'm gonna have to come back. I'm gonna come back when.
Please don't make this be the last one because this has been so much fun so far, and we only have 20 minutes left. This is flying by because I really wanted to talk about In the Trenches. Whose idea was it? How did you get involved in radio? Because were you always like, okay, as a football player, maybe I did a radio show, I could do that? How did you get involved in sports talk radio?
The exact opposite. I always said I didn't go to Rice to become a coach or in broadcast journalism after my playing days. I didn't want to be a part of the media. Not that there was anything wrong with it. I just felt like it was such a stereotypical post-retirement move, going to the media or become a coach. And the coach, it's not even that I think anything bad. It's too hard. Like I help my son's team right now only because they're not supposed to be practicing. So we'll go out there and help them. And I'm like, man, I can't wait till your coaches come back out because it's too hot. y'all don't listen, and I'd rather be in the air conditioning. My black ass needs to be inside with AC. So that's why coaching was just out of the realm. Then media, I wasn't comfortable with it. So long story short, when Gavin Spittle, he was the program director at 610 at the time. I was just out at training camp. The Texans said, "Hey, you're retired, but just come hang out, watch practice." Then Gavin was talking to me, and we were just talking, and he was asking me about sports. Then I guess he hasn't met too many brothers that could put a sentence together. And he was like, "Oh, wow, what? Have you ever thought about radio?" I was like, "Oh, I'm trying to sell you a house, and you're trying to get me a radio." So he said, "Why don't you just come in and just, do a show for fun, and I'll team you up with Adam Wexler, and you could be his guest." Man, Barry, that first night, there was adrenaline. It was fun. People were calling in, asking questions, and I was like, "Oh, I know this," and it was just great. And Adam Wexler was awesome. Like, he just made it fun. He was pro. Yeah, he's a stud. I don't know what you think about him, but Adam Wexler, I'll ride for him.
I love Wex. Yeah, there's really nobody that there are guys I don't get along with that we've had our clashes with, and I'm sure it wouldn't surprise you if I gave you the two names in this market. But there's really nobody I genuinely hate. And I respect the hell out of Adam Wexler because he's a consummate pro. He's a pros pro. And he's survived things that a lot of guys in this market, including myself, possibly going forward, wouldn't survive. So, yeah, no, he's good at what he does. He's really good.
He's very good. I mean, he really impressed me. One day we're preparing for a show. He had an Excel sheet of everything. I was like, man, like he really took it serious. But I've always said after then, okay, I like it, but let me be smart. Let me leverage it and let me make sure that I can still run the property management and the real estate brokerage. And that's why I only do 2 hours. They've asked me to do drive time in the morning and afternoon, but that's a full-time gig. Mm-hmm. And another reason why I haven't really put my all into it, I see talented people like yourself. I see talented people like Adam Wexler. On the drop of a dime, the station's like, "Oh, your show's no longer here." And if that was my full-time gig and you walk in and tell me, "Hey, your show's no longer," we might have some issues. Like police, they're not just going to have to escort me out. They better stand around the building for a while if I'm going to put my all into everything and have a good show. And then you tell me that it's no longer. Yeah,
listen, so man, I think you know my story. I mean, being let go because of the COVID economy, when the show, The Usual Suspects as a show, we were doing really good. I mean, we were winning slots, we were winning the market, we were winning the book, like we were beating the Arch drive time shows, and that was the worst part. I almost wish, Indy, in this business, and you know this, I would have rather have just somebody come along and said, "Listen, you've been last in this market for a year, you suck at this, go back to IT. You're not cut out for this." It hurt going out. I wouldn't say on top because we weren't number one at that moment, but we had won the entire city as far as sports talk in October and November, and we're number one at our station in December, January. And then, of course, for us, you know how books are. But to have that kind of run and then them to be like, "We don't have no money." It hurt, dude. It hurt.
I bet. I mean, you can't cry, so you laugh about it. But I love what you've done. I mean, reinvent yourself, continue to do what you're doing with the things you can control. Here's the thing. When I first heard about you and I started watching these, I call them series. I don't know if you call them podcasts, vlogs, the video.
It's weird. I'm so glad you brought that. I don't think I've ever talked about this since I started. This is episode 73. I've never referred to this as a podcast. And the reason is because I wanted it to be more than just, because I don't think people take podcasting seriously enough. Mm-hmm. That's just me. So I call this a show. This is my show.
Good.
Whether it's radio, YouTube, live, whatever, but this is a show. And that's what I refer to it as. It's inconsequential, but for me, it makes it feel like more than just a podcast.
No, and it is. I mean, you're giving us a visual, something to watch, and I even like the background. It might not mean anything to you,
but
the studio set up, I appreciate that. And it's a shame that a guy like yourself has to go that extra mile to put on this show. And a guy like myself who might not watch a minute of sports, I'm going to show up in the studio tomorrow to talk about how great the Astros look.
No idea.
And I'll mess around and be like, "Man, that Jordan Alvarez looked good yesterday." And somebody's going to have to call in and be like, "Man, he's not playing."
That's the worst. Is that not the fucking worst, though? Because we've all done. If you're in this business, at some point you've said something 100% wrong. Like,
Oh,
I think one time I referenced Marvin Zindler and he had been dead for 2 years. And I was just like, oh my God. Like, that's the worst feeling in the world when you go on like a 3-minute spiel about something that, bro, he's not even playing right now. Do you remember one of those where you were like, oh my God, I've never recovered from this?
Oh shoot, there's a whole bunch. The one that comes to mind was the fault that I had. I read something on Twitter and took it as gospel.
Oh God, I've done.
You've done that. Somebody said William the Fridge Perry had passed away, and I went on and talked about how I loved watching him. He was a big influence in my life. R.I.P. I'm gonna pour one out for him. Then I think Greg was looking at me. He was giving me that look. Greg won't say anything. He'll just give you that look like, I'm going to let you keep digging this hole, but you might be wrong. And then in the break, Greg was like, I don't think he's dead. And I'm like, man, why didn't you tell me that on air? Like, tell me that on air. Then I did some more research, and it was either a fake account or he was sick and somebody jumped the gun. And I was like, yeah, I'm not using Twitter anymore to show proof.
That is so funny. Yeah, your source can't just be randos on Twitter. We all learned that lesson. Because I remember that. I looked at something, somebody tweeted it, I was like, oh, and I said it. And then we went on about it, and then it wasn't even close to being true. And I was, oh my God. That's when you learn about the blue check marks. And the only time I'll even mention stuff is if there's that little blue check mark next to their name. That's a horrible feeling, man.
So they have a blue check mark, then it has to be real?
Well, it means that Twitter has verified the account. Like, you'll see fake Adrian, like Adrian Wojnarowski will break NBA news. You'll see a fake account. You'll see a fake, what's the other dude that breaks a lot of news?
Schefter from NFL?
Yes, you'll see a fake Adam Schefter. And you'll see a tweet and you're like, oh, well, it says Adam Schefter, but if there's no blue check mark, don't believe it, because it's probably somebody trolling. Making shit up.
That's good to know.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way. Trust me on that. So talk a little bit about the show, and I still want to talk about real estate, because I did real estate for a hot minute and I've hated it, but I feel like we do different things in real estate. Are you commercial or are you residential?
Residential, but I'm more of property management. We do hard money loans. I'm not driving the Joneses around on Saturdays looking for house. I just don't have that patience. So what we do, we manage commercial buildings, apartment complexes, houses. We also do hard money loans for people who are fixing and flipping. And we got into that because my partner and I, we've done it for so many years, and we're able to build up some money, basically. Mm-hmm. We make money. So we put the money off to the side, and we're like, you know what, instead of us checking on contractors and swinging the hammer, let's go ahead and loan the money to those people, let them deal with the drama, and then we, make our money off the points and the interest. And after we put up our own money, a bank recognized what we were doing, and they gave us a line of credit. So It's real estate, but it's not the annoying real estate where Shamiqua seen 10 houses, then you realize she can't really afford this house that you wasted 3 months showing, and now you got to go take her to Greens Point to go rent something out for $300.
That's exactly why I quit the business. My mom's been in real estate. She used to flip houses. She would do the investment stuff, and so when I was in between jobs, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do real estate, because I feel like I could do something in the entertainment business and still do real estate. And what I learned really quickly was I don't like people. And that's not a fucking good. I like people. I just don't like people looking for houses, I guess. It's the most annoying people on the planet. I'll never forget, I drove around, somebody was looking for a rent house, and I spent more time on one couple looking for a rent house than I did all of my other clients combined for like 3 weeks. And I was like, fuck this business. I'm not, for like $100 check. I was like, nope, no. Boy, you talk about getting nickel and dime to death, real estate? Everybody's like, you owe us a fee. We need the $100 here for this or that. Fuck that business. Anybody that can survive in real estate is a true champion in my eyes, because that is an awful business to be in.
Especially the way you were doing it. Now, there are people, their hustle is real. The hustle is real. The grind is real. I don't know if you remember Brad Davies.
I do.
Now, he's one of my all-time favorites on air. Like, He makes it so easy to do a show. He kind of has your personality, your energy. I love, love, love doing shows with him. He went to real estate and he blew up to where he hasn't even looked back. I don't think he was ever fired from radio, but either way, he's not even looking to get back. The last time I talked to Brad, he mentioned that he was looking for a boat to buy, and I was like, okay, you've arrived. You've made it.
Wow. Yeah, if you got boat money, because look, between us gals, boat money is thrown away money. Like, if you buy a boat, you ain't doing shit with that money.
Exactly.
I feel like once you get to boat money, you're like, I don't know what else to do with all this money I have. I ain't got shit to do. Because what do they say? The two best times that you'll own a boat is when you buy it and when you sell it.
Exactly. Because it costs so much to hold, to keep, to maintain. Yeah, so
it's a pain in the ass. Yeah, that's crazy. Do you own a boat, by the way? You a boat guy?
My little old school cars, that's my boat. I hate the fact that I have them. Then you get to a point where you put so much money into it, but it's not valuable enough to just sell it and get your money back. So you have to pour into it. So, yeah, I'm learning the hard way that those cool old schools that I saw growing up in the videos, it's not that easy.
So when you say old school cars, are we talking, what kind of cars? Are we talking like muscle cars? Are we talking like, I mean, what do you mean by old school cars?
So the one that's really a thorn in my side is a 62 Lincoln. A beautiful car once it's done. But, I mean, when I get one thing fixed, this went out, you got to do this. Then I had two mechanics who had no idea what they were doing. I finally got the right guy. He literally had to rip out everything they did. And I just saw the money that I spent with them just going up in smoke. So,
and you're self-proclaimed cheap. Like, you're like, I saw your tweet about vacation. You're like, I'm notoriously cheap.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine you just going, oh, fuck, I got to put more into this.
And the thing is, I'm so cheap, and I know it's probably not the smartest thing. I probably should have just cut my losses a long time ago. I'm cheap and I'm prideful. So now I'm like, nah.
That's a bad combo.
Exactly. I'm going to finish this project. So, but I think I'm in good hands now. And now it's so funny because with the guys who had no idea what they were doing every week, we got to get this part, cash at me $700, I'll send you the receipts. So they were sending me the receipts, but they just didn't know what they were doing. They were learning on my dime. With this guy, I didn't hear from him for like 3 weeks. And I was like, cool, you don't call me, I'm not going to call you to rush. And apparently he had caught COVID. He tested COVID. So he sent me a text like, hey, I'm sorry, me and my wife both tested positive. We were sick. And I didn't tweet it or text it back, but I was like, ooh, thank God. I hope you stay sick for a few more weeks because I'm not ready to pay you anything. So, yeah.
I mean, I don't want you to die, but this break has been nice. I mean, I hope you maintain a cough for a couple more weeks. Nothing.
Exactly.
That's outstanding. How many cars do you own? How many old school cars do you have?
The other one, and it's turned into my bed. I don't know if you would consider it old school, but it's a 94 F-150.
Okay.
And I like pickup trucks. And in high school, I used to think that was the best truck out there. So I bought it for only like $2,200, and I've put about 7 into it. Now that one I actually appreciate. Like I carry the mountain bikes in there. That one has been a blessing.
Where do you ride your mountain bikes? Where are you mountain biking? There's no mountains around here. Are you going over the overpasses on 610?
You're hanging around the wrong white people. You got to hang around the white people I hang with because, man, there's mountain bike trails all over Houston.
What?
There's one in Sugarland. There's Sugarland Memorial Park. That one's a pretty short one. It's only like a mile and a half, so I'll take my young son there. Then they got one in Memorial. That one, I haven't hit that one yet, because it's long and I don't want to go by myself and get lost. So I'm waiting for a buddy to go with me. But
you don't want to get lost around white people. You can't trust them. I've seen those movies.
Hey, the movie that came out a week ago, you've seen them. So, but
I've seen those movies.
I love biking. Like my neighbors introduced me. I do the road bike and the mountain bikes, and I love it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a fan of actually moving about, and you can tell with the extra smiles that I don't call them chins. I just say I got all these extra smiles here. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of moving about. I probably need to be. But did you find that? Because Here's what I have found too about former athletes, and I'm looking at the screen. You're in shape. You haven't let yourself go. Obviously, we talked about the diet earlier and everything else, but there are some guys that go. It's weird how you see guys go different directions when they stop playing football. Like Chester Pitts lost a ton of weight, right? Like, I mean, he slim. Their offensive linemen or linemen in general, I guess, defensive and offensive, seem to get slimmer, and then other guys get fat as shit. Is that just a product of what you guys had to go through on a daily basis to be in the sport and play football?
No, you called it. It's funny. It's weird. When I look at a lot of my former teammates who've retired, the running backs look like old linemen, and the old linemen look like wide receivers, and it's just a change in routine. Now you can't clump them all together because I've seen some offensive linemen that are huge now. And a defensive lineman, I was about to say his name. He looks unhealthy, so big. But no, I think with a lot of the offensive linemen, the weight that they played at was so unnatural. They were just eating, working out. So when they were done playing, as soon as they stop eating and stop. That's a steroid needle, and they stop all that. They get on a decent diet, and they just do cardio, and the weight just drops off. And with a lot of the skill position, all they're doing is running and lifting. So once they stop, the weight just packs on. But you're right, like it's weird to see those offensive linemen get so skinny you can't even recognize them. And the skill position, they just put the weight on. But it's tough because when you're working out for your job and somebody's trying to take your job, it's easy to get motivated. But when you're just working out to look good and you're married, so you're not even doing it for the ladies anymore, it's like
my poor wife. Like she when we met, I was 150 with a 6-pack. I mean, I was skinny, but you could see my abs. And then like every morning I get out of the shower, I look at myself and I think, man, I feel so bad for her. She has to look at this on top of her. She has to look down at this. Like, she's probably like, is his titties bigger than mine now? I feel so bad. But, bro, I'm too old to be motivated. This is what you signed up for. At this point, this is what you get. Like, I'm sorry.
It's tough. What motivates me now is just to keep up with the kids. That's about it.
Yeah. How many kids do you have, Indy?
4.
4 kids. And age ranges from? 18
down to 12.
Okay. So that does keep you busy.
Yeah, especially the boys and training them, working out with them. Uh-huh. So yeah, that keeps me somewhat. Do you have to prevent yourself from being like a stage dad where you're like, look, if you want to do football, if you want to do these things, that's fine, but I'm not going to push you into it. Have you tried to make a conscious effort to be like that? Oh, absolutely. Matter of fact, I tried to go the other direction. I didn't want them playing football because I know how my body feels now, the pains and when I finally stopped and retired in football, I was like, wow, there's more to life than football. Because I've been doing football my whole life. Like, I never learned how to hunt, fish, learn to work on an engine. I was just so focused on football. And I was like, look, my kids don't need to play football to go to college. So I was trying to steer them away. But my son, I mean, he's built for football. Like he's
supposed to be playing, right? Like, yeah, look, I don't want you to, but you're kind of supposed to.
But yeah, that's the reason why you're 6'3", 260 at 15 and you can't spell your name. It's because go ahead and do it.
That's outstanding. Listen, it's 3:50. I told you I'd cut you loose. I know you've got shit to do. We have to do this again. Will you please come back and do the show again?
Absolutely.
Listen, I don't want to be the white guy that says this, but this is a legitimate thing because I want to talk about you're Nigerian, and I want to talk about that because 2 of my best friends in the world are Nigerian, and it is the culture and the nuance of being Nigerian is so fascinating to me, and we talk all the time about it, and I don't think people understand it enough. So I want to talk about that, and we got to talk about. There's so much more. Will you please come back and do the show again?
Absolutely. They haven't stole your identity yet?
No, but I did a comedy show. Believe it or not, I did a show. There's a comedian in town. He's Nigerian, and his audience is 100% Nigerian. And I did his show, and my buddies Kazim and Kanis were giving me pointers, and I had the best. First of all, my opening line was, yeah, I'm not the manager. Because legitimately, Indy, as I'm walking through this crowd of 100% Nigerians, they're like, excuse me, where's my drinks? Excuse me. And I'm like, Bitch, I'm a comedian. I'm on the show. I know you guys are surprised to see a white guy on a Nigerian comedy show, but I'm on the show. But then we talked about the fact that it only started 30 minutes late, and that was like super early. Oh, it was the best, man. It was the best.
That's a real thing. That is a real thing. It's not even funny. I've never grown up. I was, I'm first generation, born in Baltimore, raised in San Antonio, but every Nigerian function that I've been to has never started within the hour that I was supposed to start. I went to a Nigerian wedding, and I'm not going to out him. He played in the NFL. The wedding started 7 hours late. I felt so bad for the white people that were there. Then our college coach was there, and he got there 30 minutes early.
That's a guy that doesn't have any Nigerian friends. Because they'd have been like, bro, go to Starbucks, get lunch, get breakfast, maybe dinner. Oh, we have to do this again. But I know you got to go, man. I appreciate you doing this. I would, normally I'm like, how can people follow you? They know where to follow you. Sports Talk 790, every day in the trenches. Thank you so much for doing this, man. I really appreciate it. Oh, we lost him. Shit. Oh, we lost him. Well, you know what? It was perfect timing. That could not have been more fun for me. I hope you guys enjoyed that. We still got some time. I'm not done with the show yet, I promise. But thank you so much to Indy Kalu for joining me on the show. I hope you guys... No, Frank, I don't think he was talking about Dell, okay? And I said that wrong. It's Dell. I always say Dell's name wrong. I don't know why I've always done that, but poor Dell. I've never said his name correctly. That was a lot of fun, man. Indy Kalu, honest to God, if you've not listened to him on radio... It's a must listen. I wasn't bullshitting him. I legitimately used to drive around from Halliburton North Belt campus to Halliburton on the south side, on Clinton and all these other places. And I would listen to Indy and Greg Cook talk about football and life. And then I would listen to Matt Thomas and it's lunchtime and the strippers. And I fucking love those guys, man. And that was a big part of my radio listening. And I've always been open and honest about, you guys know my love affair of Matt Thomas. I don't think he even knows how creepy it is, but I'm a big Matt Thomas guy. But I remember every day it was in the trenches, Matt Thomas in the trenches. That was my day. And John in the morning, Lance in the morning. But I got to be honest too, anybody that they teamed up with Lance other than John, I didn't like it. So it was a tougher listen for me. But In the Trenches was a staple for me when I wasn't in radio while I was in IT. And so that was a big thrill for me to have Indy Kalu come on this show and say that he did even tell me that he watched one. He's watched this show before. I don't know what this means. Do you stock him, Barry? What? I don't know what that means. Like put him on a shelf and I don't know what that means. Do you stock him? I don't know what that means, Fidel. Penguin Katie, love Matt Thomas. That was my day for a while too. Yeah, I've never made that a secret. Everybody that ever listened to me doing the Suspects or Houston Game Day or whatever, yeah, it's creepy, man. These guys, those three guys, Greg Cook, Indy Kalu, and Matt Thomas were a big part of my midday every single day. Oh, do I stalk him? No, I don't. Not anymore. I mean, I haven't mailed him a pair of underwear in a very long time. No, but like when I got let go from ESPN, Matt Thomas was one of the guys that reached out to me, and that meant the world to me, and then to have Indy Kalu hit me up and be like, hey man, dig what you do. That means the world to me. Cause look, you got to remember guys, before I won the gig at ESPN, I was a nobody and I was a nobody. So to have these guys recognize it and it's cool. It's really cool. I really appreciate it. So thanks again to Indy Kalu. I'm sorry you got cut off right there at the end. All good. It happens. He had to go anyways. But that was fun. That was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We didn't get to everything I wanted to get to. It is 3:55 though. And this is where we start to wrap up the show. Fidel Lamone just blocked Reverend House for correcting spelling. Yeah, he fucked up. Truck Driver Pookie, thank you, buddy. I hope you enjoyed it. I will say this. No, Clarence. Definitely not somebody now. I was somebody for a moment, and now I'm back to just whatever I am. But Thanks again to Indy Kalu for doing that. That was fun. Tomorrow, my guest is Jesse Payton. If you ever watched the live chats, you saw him. He's a hilarious dude. He's also an avid sports fan and a sports collector, so I'm sure we'll talk about that. Funny guy. Tomorrow, yes, Cowboy fam, I promise you, tomorrow your video will run. Don't miss that. Go to the Discord. That's where it's all going to go down. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. That was a ton of fun. I hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks again to my guest, Indy Kalu. Until tomorrow, be safe, be kind, and most importantly, love each other. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Daddy's making a YouTube video!